Okay, so today what you're gonna do is you're gonna basically start off with resolution of vectors. Now, resolution of vectors basically mean that vectors could be of three different types. Okay, so we got horizontal, which basically means either the vector is towards the right or it is towards the left. There could be only two horizontal vectors. Then we could have vertical vectors, which means either it is going to be up or down, or the third type is that when vectors at an angle. Angle means they could be like facing northeast or maybe northwest, southwest or southeast. Is it clear, everybody? Now, what I want you people to understand is that when you see any vector like this, which is at an angle, suppose the angle is given from here, the vector is called f. So you can break this vector into its components. What it means is that if something goes in this direction, it means that originally it would have been pulled to the right and upwards, and that's how it got to go in this direction. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Both of you? You guys can hear me, right? Adipa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So basically, when you break this vector into two components, this component, this is called the horizontal, and this is called the vertical component. Now look closer, you'll see that this angle right here, let me choose a different color, this here, and so basically the angle always touches the original vector and one of the components. So the component it touches becomes the adjacent component, and the component doesn't touch becomes the opposite component. Is it clear? Now,
Yes, sir.
in math, we have learned that cosine theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, sine theta is opposite over
Opposite over
hypotenuse.
hypotenuse
Yes, and tan theta is opposite over adjacent.
is opposite over adjacent.
So what I can do is I can write adjacent to be equal to hypotenuse times cos theta, and for sine I could write opposite to be hypotenuse times sine theta. Now, so the adjacent, this would be the hypotenuse always, so I can write the horizontal would be equal to, if I want to find the value, it will be f times cos of theta, and the other one will be f times sine of theta. Do you guys understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh no. How silly of me, huh? I actually started the recording and did not switch the screen. Okay. Now it could also be a possibility where the angle is given from this side, and when you make the components, like one would be towards the right, one would be towards the left according to this angle, the resultant. So because the angle is touching this component, like this one and this one. So this makes it adjacent, so I can write the vertical would be now f times cos theta, and the horizontal will be f times sine theta. So it is basically the angle that decides which component is going to be what. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's do a small exercise where we'll learn that how they're managed. So example number 1, you got vector which is a value of 35 meters per second, angle is 57 degrees. Then we have vector like this which is at an angle of 34, and second question, and the third one is like this which is 30 degrees, right? So I'm gonna do the second one, and then you guys need to do 1 and 3. Okay, so first of all I'm gonna look at where the vectors are going to be. So when I break it, it could only go southwest when you have one vector towards the south and the other vectors towards the west, like this. Now what I'm going to do is, this is the horizontal and this is the vertical. So for horizontal, the value here was 12 meters per second. This value was 20 meters per second. So the horizontal would be 12 cos of 34, that is 10 meters per second, and the vertical is 12 sine of 34, that is 7 meters per second. Do you guys understand this? Now what I want you people to do is, I want you to complete the figure 1. You need to draw the vectors and find horizontal and vertical components, please.
For 1?
1 and 3.
Okay.
Okay, you guys done?
So I'm done. I'm done with 1.
Okay, do the third one as well. Then I'll share the answers and the drawings.
Yes, I'm done.
Reba, what about you?
Sir, I didn't understand it. I couldn't solve it.
You could have drawn something, Reba. Like for this one,
Sir,
the
I
first one,
tried, but
the first one, if you want to go this direction, you have to make a vector to the right and upwards. Don't you think so? Did you at least do it?
yes, sir.
Then check this out. If this is this angle, what this makes it adjacent, and
Yes, sir.
this vector doesn't have it. So this is the vertical, this is the horizontal. So this makes it opposite. So then it would be, for horizontal it is going to be 35 cos of 57. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
That's 19.1. And for vertical it will be 35 sine of 57. So this is going to be this. Did you get the same answer, Burhan?
Yes.
Now for this one, Ariba, can you tell me where the vectors will be for the third one?
Sir, the vector will be at 20 meter per second.
No. Where will be the
No,
horizontal and vertical components? Tell me the directions.
it would be towards the right,
Okay, one is towards the right and the other.
and the other one would be downwards.
Very good, downwards. Now, this is the vertical, this is the horizontal. Which one is adjacent, which one is opposite?
Uh, 1 minute. The horizontal one is opposite one, and the other one is adjacent.
Very good. So it means for the horizontal, what would be the equation then? Can you tell me?
For the horizontal, it would be 20 cos 57.
30. Where did you get 57? You're looking at this, no?
Yes, sir.
It has.
Yeah, 20 cos 30.
Okay.
And for the vertical one, it would be 30 sine 20.
20 is the value sine of angle. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is going to be 10, this is going to be 17.3. You can solve it. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now that we have learned how to break the vectors, today next thing we're gonna do is how to form them. So they can also give you like, suppose they have given you one vector like this, vertical, one vector like this, horizontal. This is 3.4, this is 5.7. One question. The second question is 10, 3, and the third question is 12 and 20. So they say find the resultant vector and direction or to horizontal. Direction to horizontal. Now let's look at it. So first of all, I'm going to solve the first one. So if something goes to the right, something goes to the left, I mean upwards, then the resultant would be somewhere in the middle. Don't you think so?
Yes.
And they want to find this resultant, and they want us to find the angle from the horizontal. So I'm going to make an angle as well. Clear?
Yes.
So to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to use Pythagoras given. Okay, so Pythagoras theorem basically is r square equals to horizontal square plus vertical square, and then you can take the under root, so the r would be equal to 6.64. Do you understand, both of you?
Yes.
Ariba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then to find the angle, use tan theta. Now we know that tan theta is opposite over adjacent. In this one, this is the adjacent because it is next to the angle they want us to find from the horizontal. This is the opposite. So we'll write 3.4 divided by 5.7, and then to find theta we'll write in the calculator tan of inverse 3.4 divided by 5.7. This should be about 30.8 degrees. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now I want you people to do the next two, please, and tell me the answers. You also need to draw the resultant vector and the angle.
Sorry, I can't see the third one.
Can't see the third one? Oh, sorry. Okay, you guys done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think I got the. Yeah, I got the answers.
Okay, Ariba, what about you?
Sir, 1 minute.
Okay.
I'm just checking it again.
Okay.
Sir, done.
Done. Okay, very nice. Okay, so I'm drawing it, and now you check yours if that is correct. So this vector should look like this, and the angle from the horizontal should be here. So the resultant's value should be 10.4, and the angle's value should be 16.7. Did you guys get the same?
Yes.
Sir, I got this one wrong.
This one wrong? Why are you, which
Yes,
part?
sir.
Which
I
part?
took the opposite angle.
But if the angle is, actually you took here, but that angle would be from the vertical, not the horizontal. When it says direction to the horizontal, you have to make this.
I know the
Okay.
mistake now.
Now this would be like this, and the angle should be from here.
Yes, sir. This one is right. I did.
Now for this one, the resultant is 23.3, and the angle is 59 degrees. Got it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hope you guys understand this right now. Okay.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Now I just want to tell you a couple of things. Okay. Now suppose that they have given you now multiple angles at once. That could be something. So there is one angle like this. Sorry, one vector like this, which is A, 15 value. There is another vector like this, B, 10. There is another vector vertical down, C, 25, and B, 50. This angle is 60 degrees. This angle is 28 degrees. So now we've got to solve all of these and find the resultant. So now first of all, what you're going to do is, in step 1, you always basically define the directions. So basically the directions generally are, when you are looking at anything, I like to take right side as positive, left as negative, up as positive, down as negative. So you can also switch it, like you can say, okay, I want to take So once you have the directions, what you're gonna do is you're gonna break the vectors. Okay. So if I look at A only, you see, if I want to break A into its components, where would the components be? Can you tell me, Ariba? Ariba?
Yes, sir.
If I want to break A, where would the components be?
Wait.
Only look at A.
Okay. So it would be at.
Yes.
Sir, at left side maybe. No.
If you want to go on this side, so
Right.
okay, so it would be right. Okay, one of the components will be right, and the other one. Other one. Upwards, Ariba. If you are going towards this direction, right? So of course the components are going to be right and up. Do you understand? Okay. Now B is already horizontal, so it does not have a vertical component, so we're going to leave that. C is already vertical, it does not have a vertical component. D is at an angle. Yes, Burhan, where would be the angles for it? I mean the components for it?
For D, sir?
Yes.
For D, sir, both there will be one to the left and one down.
One to the left and one down. Do you understand, Ariba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what are we going to do? We are going to make a table. In that table, we are going to write. Let me just quickly make that table. Okay. In that table, we are going to write horizontal on one side. When the meeting ends, okay, you got to rejoin. Vertical on the other. So for A, this is the horizontal vector, the green one. Do you see? And the value for this would be, who can tell me?
For which one, sir? For A is horizontal.
Yeah.
A is horizontal. A is horizontal is the opposite, so it will be
No.
F. It will be 15.
15. It is
Oh,
not
sorry,
the opposite.
horizontal is the. Yes, I get
It is next to the angle, so it is going to be 15
Yeah.
cos of 60. And because it is towards the right, and I have taken right as positive, so I'm gonna put a positive sign here. Is it clear? Both of you.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, for the vertical A, what would be the value, Hariba?
For the vertical
Of A.
vertical
Yes.
yes. Sir, I don't know.
This one, Hariba. What is this? Adjacent or opposite? vertical component of A, we are finding the components.
15 sine 60.
15 sine of 60, would it be positive or negative?
Sir, I cannot hear you. Your
Um,
voice is very...
Ariba, can you rejoin then? Because probably there might be. Burhan, can you hear me correctly, right?
Yeah, but like it is like
ओके एक तुम्हारे इंटरनेट से मैं बहुत तंग हूँ ये इनको कॉल करो उनको कॉल तुम लोग मुझे कैसे इंटरनेट देते हो तुमको मैं बोल रहा हूँ ओके बुरहान इज
it's
एनी
like
बेटर
yeah, I can hear you, but like it's as if like wind is hitting your mic.
wind is hitting my mic okay I understand it is the fan actually okay let's wait 2 minutes for Reba चला ज़रा ये fan थोड़ा slow कर दो okay okay is it better now
Experimental,
yeah
topicals, fine. But Edexcel didn't have topicals.
okay Edexcel does have topicals I just wanted to you know so alright so then basically if you look at B right so for B you see that B is already towards the right and it is already horizontal so we're gonna write we're gonna write plus 10 here but B does not have any vertical component so we're gonna write 0 here is it clear
Yes.
on C now C if you look at it it's down and it is basically negative so it does not have any horizontal component but it is like negative 25 the negative because I took negative as down right is it clear
Yes, it's clear.
finally we have D so D horizontal is this one which makes it 50 cos of 28 because it's adjacent next to the angle as you can see however it is towards the negative side so we're going to put a negative sign here then comes the other one D so that would be 50 sine of 28 and because it is downwards and downward we took as negative so we're going to put a negative sign here is it clear
Yes.
so when you have all the vectors broken into their components So we can just add it. So you add the horizontals together, you add the verticals together with the correct signs, of course. And when you do that, this is going to be minus 26.64. This is going to be minus 35.5. Understood? Okay. Now once you have that, basically this means that horizontal is towards the left. How do I know it is towards the left? Because I got a negative value and negative is towards the left. And this is going to be 26.64. And the vertical is towards down, which is 35.5. And that's also minus. So basically it's downwards, so the negative is down, right? Is it clear? Then, which means we got to find this resultant and this angle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Pythagoras theorem. So for Pythagoras theorem, we're going to use 26.64 whole square minus 35.5 whole square, sorry, plus, and under root. So this is going to give us a value of 44. Is it clear?
Yes. Sir, how do you know like the angle is going to be with the horizontal
I
component?
just took it from there. Okay. But that's if they specifically ask, then that's a different story. So when you take the angle tan theta, so if I take this angle here, that makes this as the opposite, this as the adjacent, right? So now this is going to be 35.5 divided by 26.64. The important thing that you guys need to remember is that when you are taking this, never put the signs here, because angles are basically scalar quantities. So I'm writing, do not put negative or positive, as angle is scalar. And for vectors we need to put signs, because those signs tell us exactly the direction, right? So angles do not have any direction, so we don't need it. So when you find this is going to be something like 53 degrees. Is it clear? Ariba, can you hear me correctly now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ariba, I just want to tell you something, okay? Check this out.
Yes, sir.
So the first thing we always do is whichever vectors are at certain angle, we break them, right? Like I have broken A into two of its components, right? Is it clear?
Okay.
So
Yes, sir.
one, because A is going towards like this direction. If you don't understand, you can make this drawing. You can make A here, because A looks like this and this is 60 degrees. So automatically which directions its components are going to be. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So now, because 60 was next to horizontal, so horizontal I wrote 15 cos 60. You see?
60, 15
Yeah,
cos
this is
60,
this
yes, sir.
vector. Yeah. And I put a positive
Right.
sign here because I took right side as positive. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Then if you look at the vertical component here, as you can see, the vertical
Yes,
component.
sir.
The vertical component, because the 60 angle is away from it, so it is the opposite one. So we wrote 15 the hypotenuse, sine of
60.
60, and we put a positive sign on the vertical because I took vertical as positive. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Then for B, B was actually completely horizontal, as you can see. So if something is completely
Yeah.
horizontal, it means it is 10, and because it is towards the right, I took it as positive, so it's positive 10.
Positive.
But it,
Right.
if it's completely horizontal, it means it does not have a vertical component, so it will be 0.
So
Understood?
it would be 0. Right.
Then for C,
Yes, sir.
C is vertical, completely vertical, so horizontal will be 0
So
for
it
C.
would be 0.
And 25 is the value, but I
And
put a negative sign because negative is downwards. I took it like this, okay?
yes. So minus 25.
Yeah.
Right.
And then for D, I basically made two vectors like this one and this one. And for this one, this vector, basically it was next to 28, so I wrote horizontal is 50
Minus
cos of 28
cos
minus
28.
because it is towards the left. Understood?
Right. Yes, sir.
And then I took this one, T, so it is 50 sine of 28 because it is
Minus
the
50
vertical one,
sine
and
28.
minus because it is down. Okay.
Right. Yes, sir.
Then what we did was we took, like, we added all of them together and we
So
got
it would be minus 26.64.
this one. Okay.
Right.
Then we added all of these together, we got this one. What it means is minus sign indicates that the horizontal has this value, but minus indicates that it is towards the left. Understood?
Yes, sir.
And minus 35.5 means that vertical has a value of 35 and it is towards down. Now we got to find the resultant and the angle. So for the resultant we use Pythagoras theorem right here. We got this answer.
Yes, sir.
And for angle we used opposite over adjacent in the tan and got 53. Do you understand now? Both of you?
Yes, sir.
So basically what we've learned today is that